My fiancé made me sign a weight loss contract, so I left him for dessert. Most couples celebrate romantic dinners with champagne and candlelight. But my fiancé, Marcus, turned our anniversary into a business negotiation where I was handed a pen and told to sign away 20 pounds or lose him forever. And honestly, the choice between his toxic ultimatums and a triple-layered chocolate cake became the easiest decision I ever made. We'd been together 3 years when Marcus started treating my body like a project he needed to micromanage, commenting on every bite I took and suggesting fitness apps with the enthusiasm most people reserve for vacation planning. But I thought it was just him being health conscious, until the night he presented me with actual paperwork demanding I lose 20 pounds in 3 months with weekly weigh-ins and strict calorie limits, or he'd reconsider the engagement. The contract sat on our dining table like a legal document you sign for a mortgage, complete with specific clauses about gym attendance and banned foods. And my fiancé stood there explaining how fitness trackers would help monitor my progress, while I stared at this man I thought I'd marry, and realized he saw me as an employee who needed performance reviews instead of a partner he cherished exactly as I was. Marcus justified everything by talking about longevity and health optimization, using words like wellness and vitality, while completely ignoring that what he really meant was control. Because every clause in that ridiculous contract was designed to make me feel inadequate and dependent on his approval, trading my self-worth for his vision of what a fiancé should look like in wedding photos. I tried explaining that bodies aren't business transactions and relationships shouldn't include performance metrics, but Marcus insisted modern partnerships required accountability and discipline, acting like he was some kind of relationship guru instead of just another insecure man who weaponized fitness culture to mask his own need to dominate every aspect of someone else's existence. That's when something shifted inside me, this quiet realization that I'd been starving myself emotionally long before Marcus ever cared about my calorie intake, accepting criticism and micromanagement, because I thought that's what commitment looked like. But staring at that contract made me understand I was trading my peace for someone's impossible standards. So instead of signing away my autonomy, I grabbed my keys and drove straight to Bella's bakery, the fancy dessert place Marcus always said was too indulgent. And I ordered one of everything, literally pointing at the display case and saying yes to every cake and pastry and chocolate creation they had, filling 2 boxes with enough sugar to give a nutritionist nightmares. The baker, a woman named Sophia who'd probably seen her share of emotional dessert runs, didn't ask questions, just carefully packed each treat, while I stood there feeling lighter than I had in months despite the growing weight of buttercream and ganache in my hands, because choosing cake over criticism felt like reclaiming something precious I'd been giving away for free. I drove to my best friend Jenna's apartment, where I knew I'd find support instead of scales, and when she opened the door and saw me holding those pink bakery boxes with tears streaming down my face, she didn't need an explanation. Just pulled me inside and grabbed forks, while I told her about the contract and Marcus, and how I just chosen dessert over a man who thought love came with terms and conditions. We sat on her couch eating tiramisu and lemon tarts, while I called Marcus to tell him the engagement was off. My mouth still full of chocolate mousse as I explained that I'd rather celebrate life with buttercream than spend it being measured and monitored by someone who confused control with caring. And honestly, that slice of red velvet cake tasted better than any relationship built on impossible standards ever could. The aftermath was predictable, Marcus trying to frame himself as the reasonable one while I was being impulsive and emotional. But I'd stopped caring about his narrative the moment I realized that prioritizing my mental peace over someone's aesthetic demands wasn't impulsive. It was overdue. Because life's too short to spend it seeking approval from people who only love conditional versions of who you are. Now I eat what I want when I want, and some days that's a salad and other days it's an entire dessert sampler. But the difference is I'm making choices for myself, instead of performing wellness for someone else's satisfaction. Proving that the sweetest revenge isn't a perfect body. It's the freedom to exist without someone turning your worth into a checklist they control.